Yeah, now that we're all here in
Yep.
Twitter.
So we're all here. Welcome, everyone. Laura Rubenstein, Dr. Roberta Shaler. We are excited. It's the end of 2015. We are excited about 2016. You can find us a little bit more about us for Dr. Roberta Shaler. You can find more about her at forrelationshiphelp.com. And I am at transformtoday.com. It's my blog. We got tons of great information. So if you can't stay with us long, be sure to check our websites up. I've just got all these pieces of paper here. It's very fun. Let's see what else we can bring up for you. But welcome. We're going to talk, right, Roberta, about jumpstarting our new year. What are you
Yes.
excited about?
Well, I'm excited about what I've put myself through in the last few days. I
Ooh.
think sometimes, to actually jumpstart your business, you have to go back and you have to have a little review and ask myself, what is the real business I'm in? What is the deepest business that I'm in? And to start thinking about that and to take some time to dwell on that and then what is the contribution that I want to make within that? What is it built on? And reviewing that, because we're not the same person we were at the beginning of last year. Things have changed. We need to review those things. So that's what I'm most excited about. How about you, Laura?
Well, I'm most excited about, seeing where my intentions bring me and how to be in the present moment with what is so about the new me or whatever, the me at the moment,
Yeah.
right? So I think it's really important. And I do want to address this thing about New Year's resolutions right off the bat, get it over with. I mean, people ask, are you making any New Year's resolutions? And the answer is absolutely not.
No, me neither.
Yeah, not. No resolutions because it's just not productive. I found it, actually, I found it worked quite the opposite. It set me up for failure and disappointment and judging myself and killing momentum like instantly. It's like, I didn't keep it already, right?
Yes, it does tend to have a dulling effect because we're so excited when we do it and we're so committed and we're, yes, this is what I'm going to do. And it makes great conversation and we tell people and we have accountability buddies maybe and we do all this kind of thing. I think that I know that you're going to talk about your take on resolution making, but my take is that it's a promise that you make to yourself that by keeping it, you demonstrate you're trustworthy to yourself. And we make them kind of frivolously, and we make them too large, we make them rather undoable or unreachable. And that's where it really falls down. To sit down and actually make some decisions about life, that's a different matter. But it tends to have a different energy, a whole bunch of shoulds. If these are the things I should be doing, so I'm going to make myself do them by making a resolution.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's healthy from a psychological perspective, and it certainly doesn't work emotionally either.
Right. So instead of New Year's resolutions, my philosophy has been for many, many years is to set an intention. And for me, what an intention is, it's an energy state. It's how do I want to feel in the new year? What energy am I bringing to the new year? Not a result. It's a intention for health. It's intention for prosperity. And then my brain, my subconscious brain, can, bring it in the hypnosis side of me, can go to work and figure out what it needs to do to bring forth that energy in greater and greater. And I keep revisiting that intention. What does it feel like? I ask myself questions. What would prosperity feel like? What would it feel like to raise my income? What would it feel like to feel healthier in my body, more love in my life? And then I let my brain go do the work in its own way, and I honor myself completely in the process and trust. This is real demonstrating of trust, is not expecting it, not setting up a goal, having an intention and allowing my highest self, this great wisdom part of me, to guide me to what is actually best for me and in my highest good. Because we can set these great intentions, but I mean, these great, grandiose resolutions, but it's on the surface. It's not who we really are. And I heard that in what you were saying. It's like, get to the core of you is really about trusting.
Yeah, to be able to trust yourself that you will do what you say you will do means that you have to really back up and look at what your values are and how you're living them.
Mm.
And there would be an intention. I always have an intention to be the wise presence of love in the room. That's my intention.
And you
And
can always go back to that. Like, when you are, um, even if you get off course, it's like, oh, wait a minute. My intention is. That means I can align with that energy. I can shift how I'm being right now in this moment. Bring yourself. It's like, it's more of a guidance tool than a whipping stick.
yeah, and I think one of the things that causes people to think that resolutions are a good idea is because so often they're extremely well able to be measured. And an intention is a little more ambiguous. And you're kind of inching in that direction or whatever, but it's not like, yes, I did that. It's always in process. It's always in evolution. So sometimes it's not as attractive to do because you can't measure it for some people who need that. And if we don't have a strong second chakra, we can't manage that ambiguity as well. So for some people, resolutions are good because they think they're measurable and all. It's the part that you were bringing up, that beating yourself up by setting a resolution that is really a big leap for you is more detrimental than not reaching the resolution itself.
Right.
We don't want to be doing that. So working from an intention, working from a how do I want to feel, like you were saying earlier, working from a how do I give my contribution to the world? How do I offer that? What is my contribution to the world, and how could I up my game a little bit? Coming from questions that are more from an emotional basis than from a factual, intellectual basis is often much more beneficial in the long run to who you are and how you present yourself to the world, in my opinion.
I think we have to marry our emotions with what we want in the world, who we want to see. And what I heard in what you're saying was some very, very important questions. And that's the answer to the title of this, How to Jumpstart Your 2016, is asking you questions, yourself the questions that bring forth what you want. Like, what are you about? Where are you now? What is your intention for the year? What do you want to do differently? How was the year for you? What did you do really well? What would you like to see changed? And what is 2016 about for you? A lot of people like to set a theme for the year. And when you do that, that is also kind of a way of setting an intention, but bring that emotional side to that and you fuel it. I think what you were saying also was the emotions is the fueling of anything concrete.
Well, we need to be grounded and know who we are and know that we have a right to take up space. And then if you think about that as our container, our bowl, that's our first chakra, actually. And then our emotions are the water that goes into that bowl, and it fills it and gives it life, right? And makes a balance between purposes. And if we don't spend time getting to those more basic, deep things that are going on, then we shortchange ourselves. And there's no really good reason to shortchange ourselves by having a bunch of driving shoulds, as opposed to evolving exploration of our contribution to the world.
Amen. Now, you mentioned chakras, so let's go into that because people may or may not be familiar with it, or they may have their own definition. Let's get on the same page. What is a chakra, and why are you talking about them?
Well, I'm talking about it because I started yoga 50 years ago, so I have been it's been part of my life for a long time, and so I often talk about that in my work, is these energy centers that we have, these metaphoric ways of thinking about how our life and field is built. And so the chakras are just the energy centers, the 7 energy centers that are the metaphor for different areas of development and different areas of activity. And often that level of development has to happen as we are growing up. There are different chakra things that happen at different levels of from birth to 12 months and things like that. And so I like to look at those things with clients who are interested in looking at those things. I'm just bringing it up because it's top of mind. I've had lots of time to read this holiday, and I'm excited about it.
That's great, because you mentioned you went through this process of really contemplation and asking yourself questions like, what do you value? Who are you that's different from the beginning of the year? And that is, when we take the time to do that, we are nourishing ourselves, and we're really, it's like a plant really rooted, getting really rooted in the ground and strong so that you can really blossom in the year. And for years and years, I used to have a New Year's Day party, not a New Year's Eve party, but I used to think about New Year's Day as like the fresh start. And sometimes you didn't really have plans on New Year's Day. And I was like, oh, that's a bummer, so I'd invite people over, and I'd invite them during the party to write on a piece of paper their New Year's intention. I said, it's not a resolution like we talked about. It's an intention. What do you want this year to be about for yourself? And I'd have them put it in an envelope, and I'd keep it in a very special place in the feng shui part of my house called the helpful people area. So my intention was to help fuel theirs. Partially, I had my own personal intentions as well, but and then people would come back the next year and open them up. And the cool thing was getting the stories of how, oh my gosh, some people would just put this back and put their intention back for the next year. Other people were like, I don't remember writing that, but it totally happened.
Yeah, I remember being at your party and doing that, and it's so true. And one of the things that I'm talking about, Laura, is something, piggybacking on what you just said, is that you've been talking about the chakra thing, is I tell my clients, you have to be rooted in your boots, not in somebody else's. So for many times we are living up to the expectations of other people by what it is we resolve to do, or even what our intentions are. And we have to get very, very clean about being rooted in our own boots, not in the shoulds of life or how success is measured by other people, but who am I, and do I have the right to take up space and breathe? And then if I do have that right, and I am fully according myself that right, then what would I do, right? But we have to be careful, because if we don't have that grounding, then our businesses can't do much. Right. We're piling on a lot of shoulds. We're going to a whole lot of workshops where people tell you what you should do if you want to make this much money, which you should want to make. And then we go and we think, well, this doesn't fit, and you try and live in their boots for a while. And then you go to somebody else and you keep trying on other people's boots, but you never get rooted in your own. And your business can't grow unless you're rooted in your boots.
Yeah, and it's, I think what you and I'm almost embarrassed to say it because it's not whatever the others are doing, is about it's okay if you don't want to make the billions of dollars that people want to suck you in to tell you can make, right? It's okay if you want to do good in the world and see what comes from that. It's okay to not have to be a superstar. You don't have to use every tool and every system and every other person's process. It's about finding your own process.
Yeah, and it's about coming from your heart, not from some business system. Like, take an example. I'm sure everybody can relate to this. If you have an online business or a business of any kind, you have heard that you must have a funnel. You must have a funnel, and it has to have all these parts. And if it doesn't have these parts and these emails and everything, then you're missing it. So come and give me $12,000, and I will tell you how to do it. And then you'll be so much happier and better, because now you'll have spent the money and you'll be making the money. Well, great if that works for you, but it's not a should. You know, you can have a balanced life, a life that reflects your values, that you're not doing some internet marketing thing. Like I personally have been to many, many, many of them because I've been internet marketing for 20 years. And many times I left feeling like I had to take a shower.
It's like,
Just,
yuck.
oh, do I really have to do that? Do I really have to do that? And it took me a long time to just accord, okay, I've had all these ideas put into me. The ones that I can live with, that are in alignment with my values, with what I want to do in the world, let me use those ones. But I'll take off that heavy responsibility and guilt for I haven't done every little piece of that.
Especially if you paid the $12,000, right?
Right. And, so many times people are spending $12,000 to give to somebody who says that they've taught a whole lot of people how to make $1 million, but those people have taught people how to make $1 million. That's how they made the $1 million. They didn't have it in the beginning.
Right. Exactly.
So, do things and fine. I mean, good, more power to them if that works for them and it's in alignment with what they need. But our point is not to say any of that doesn't work. It doesn't work for me, that it doesn't work. I know it works for many people. But do what's right for you. Get information and then calibrate. Is this in alignment with who I am and who I want to be and the result that I'd like to create? And live from that integrity. Actually, Laura, on my website for relationship help, I have a little test there called the Personal Integrity Checklist. And I invite people to always do that at the beginning of the year to see, where do I sit with that? Because it's important to have personal integrity. Otherwise, we just don't feel good. We don't feel grounded.
Yeah, and we're not saying don't have a plan, but have one that's in alignment with yourself.
Yeah. That you can live with and you can happily tell people about from a centered place, not from a, look, I spent the $12,000 and here is where I am on the checklist place.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly what Tracy's saying. Do what's right for you. And it takes something to get there. I mean, it's easy to, if you have it, plop the $12,000 down and take no responsibility and say, I'm just going to do this checklist. Maybe, maybe you'll get through it, maybe you won't, and it's all going to work out. But it may not if you don't, if it's not in alignment. So you really have to check in, get the advice where you need it, get clear first on what you need.
Mm-hmm.
What are the
and
gaps?
If you don't know what you need, go to a few free things. Mm-hmm. and find out. Just sit in, or a $97 something, and figure out where your gaps are, or work with a coach. You can work with Laura. I can help you just to do a session to figure out, what's up, who am I, and what am I doing here, and what do I need, because that will help. We've spent lots of money going down strange trails to figure out all this stuff. So we can help you and guide you, to do that. And you're absolutely right. The comment here is you need to focus, because it's hard to focus if you're not in alignment. Yeah. And it is. And then you have all those horrible feelings of, well, I should, and I feel guilty, and I'm not good enough, and I'm not doing what I said I would do, and all that kind of thing. When you have those emotions, the same thing about resolutions, when you have those emotions, they're dragging you down. Now you've got all this heaviness going on that you can't lift yourself up to actually do your business. So a plan, yes, but not an ironclad plan. A plan with wiggle room built in.
And based on clarity of where you're at. And it's really interesting. We get in our head so much with all those shoulds, and I've signed up for this and I don't want to fail, and somebody so and so says if I don't do this I'm missing the boat. But you know what Oprah says? It's like, if it's not a definite yes, it's a no. So if you're having all these doubts and fears, you got to back up. You got to say, what's important to me now?
Yeah, and it's a no for now, perhaps, or a no for forever. You don't know, but you only have the present moment, so you need to know. If you're not going, yes, I mean, I had a definite yes, to use an example, immediate and definite yes to go to a conference that I went to at the beginning of December. I was absolutely sure that it was going to be the best thing since sliced bread and the most wonderful people in the world were going to be there, and it was exactly what I needed. I went there and it was a ripping disaster. But, you know, I really had a strong yes. And so you do something and okay, it didn't turn out very well, but there was other learning to be had there. So forgive yourself, move on. Like, okay, apparently I needed to be there. Not sure right now what that was for or why I needed to be there, but it will become evident, and you know it will.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 6 months from now, it'll go, oh, that's why I had to be in that room watching that ripping disaster.
I love that sense of trust in yourself that you've gone through. You didn't meet your expectation, but at the same time, you know that there's some value out of it. And we can always make lemons out of lemonade, even if we don't, or even if it doesn't feel good, it's still probably good for us.
Yeah, and there's all this, you know, going back to the energy thing, there's all this energy running in the universe and running around us. And if you believe in chakras, you know, activating and either moving towards deficiency or excess in our chakra system. And so we're caught, I don't believe in balance. I believe we're always balancing. You know, we have wonderful moments of oh, wow, that's balanced, but they don't last very long. We're always balancing.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
you know, something happens where I go off and I go to this conference and it's a ripping disaster, but, you know, I deepen the relationship with a participant by being there. What will that create? You know, you don't know. And so just always being the balancing of every day, the balancing of every relationship. You know, most of my work is done with people who want to be in a relationship, are in a relationship, or try to leave a relationship. And we all know that on one day we have a really strong feeling, and so we try to, should I take action on that strong feeling? And the next day we have a mediocre feeling. The next day we have a different feeling. We have to know that we're in flux and flow all the time and learn to go with that. You know, if one contribution that I can ever make to one of my clients is to trust the flux and flow and have faith that it is going to occur and that you know what to do with it.
Right. And you can go with the flow, as they say. Really be aware of where you're at and where, you know, the events in your life and the circumstances and the people. What is that informing you of? Getting that higher awareness really makes for a very powerful living and experience of life and in your business, because I have been in situations where, you know, I thought, oh my God, I got to get this client work done. And that client wasn't ready for it to get done. I was putting undue pressure on myself. And they were supposed to get something back to me. They didn't get it back for 3 weeks. So I actually had an extra 2 weeks to get something done. So trusting the flow, looking in, and if something's coming up that you need to communicate, see how to communicate that. There's just real power and self-awareness and not digging your head in the sand. So if you're someone who likes to kind of, you know, look at things later, your invitation this end of the year is to take a peek out. I promise you it'll be easier than you think. Not easy, like it might be easy for you, but it'll be easier than you think. And to take a look at these hard questions, that they're very simple questions. Who am I? What do I value? What do I want for my year? What worked? What didn't work? You know, or what do I want to work differently? And what I love what you said, Roberta, about what is the contribution you can make. You know, and part of me thinks that you were at that event in December to make a contribution to someone who really needed it. And maybe that was the purpose. The universe put you there because they needed you there. You know?
Well, I agree with that, Laura, and to expand on that, you know, when you're in that mindset, which you and I share, then you're not disappointed. You're not upset. You know, when my partner Charles and I wrote Soul Solitude, taking time for our souls to catch up, there's a recurring theme in there when we say everything is as it must be now. how to learn to just be in that place, and everything is as it must be now, and everything is as it must be now, and everything is as it must be now, and to be present with that, and to recognize that there are much greater things at work than what I have decided is my resolution for the year. Um,
Right.
and to be participants in that, and to be receptive to that. Some people say, "What's your word for 2016?" I have had the same word for years because it works for me, and my word is receptivity.
Hmm.
And to be receptive, I respond to life as it comes to me. That's my nature. If anybody knows anything about what's that system called?
Myers-Briggs or
No, Regina.
oh, the human design.
The human design. If you
Yes.
know something about your human design, I'm a responder. I like to take my time and respond to life. Knowing that has helped me a great deal. I didn't know that till 8 years ago. It helped me know. So use some of the tools that are there that are can help you understand your deepest nature. Like when I'm working with my clients, I want them to be really comfortable in their own skins. And for that, you have to go and find out where's your skin and how are you relating to it, you know?
And
And it's important too in our businesses, because our businesses have skin that we put on it, and we have some skin in that game. So we have to be living in the same way with our businesses.
yep. And you've mentioned a number of resources and books, and I just wanted to let people know your website is forrelationshiphelp.com and mine is transformtoday.com. So please take a visit. And like Roberta, you were saying, if you need that help to get clear, to understand where your gaps are, can't see what's behind you here, the little blind spot, then we're here to gently help you see a little more clarity and understand how you can grow your business, you know, aligned
Exactly.
with you. So, check out, connect with us. We both do complimentary discovery sessions. So we're happy to talk to you and help you jumpstart your 2016.
Yeah, business is not something when you're working for yourself as an entrepreneur, your business is an extension of you. It's the relationship, another aspect of relationship to the world, and that's why it becomes even more important as an entrepreneur to do your own work, to know exactly all these things that we're talking about at this deeper level, because that's what fuels you. That's what gives you the certainty, that gives you the faith, that gives you the intention, and will move you in a direction that you can't go if you're just trying to apply business principles. You will reach ceilings that stop you, and it is difficult. And if you're looking for a good read to really start to work at these deeper things, I invite you to read Soul Solitude. You can buy it on Amazon, and it will help you. It's a short book, and it will really help you get in touch with some of these things. And Laura, you have hypnosis tools to offer people when they have blocks or things going on. So
Mhm.
the valuable resources are all around us, and reach out and use them judiciously. Don't use it with a laser, not with buckshot.
I do find that people have a lot of misconceptions and a lot of beliefs that don't serve them. And so, taking a look at one's beliefs and seeing if we can reframe them into something that does serve them and what's underneath them that's really the truth is important. I brought that into social media as well because, you know, I see social media as a really awesome tool for business. It's not the only marketing strategy, obviously, but it's one that is in the forefront and is very powerful and strong because the billions of people are there. And when I saw that, it was a game changer. It's a playing field leveler in a sense for smaller businesses, people with a passion who want to be fueled. And if you have any resistance to social media, I want to encourage you to um, really get over it. In fact, that's why I wrote the book, Social Media Myths Busted, the Small Business Guide to Online Revenue. So welcome. We are excited that so many people are joining us. And you can also, find more out, get the Soul Solitude book on Amazon, go to For Relationship Help and get um, more info from Roberta and more info from me. Let me know if you want to talk. We can certainly set up a time, and we're not taking anybody on as guests, but we definitely want you to chat. If you have a question, there's this really cool thing you can do on Blab. You use a /Q and then type the question. And welcome. We have a first timer here. Wow, we're excited you're here. Thank you. And yay, it's Jahi Thomas. And so if you do have questions or you want to tell us the line of work you're in, please put it in the message area on the right there. And this way we can also talk about your business like Melody did earlier. She is a podcasting virtual assistant and online radio broadcasting VA. There's so much back end work that goes in. And that's another thing about jumpstarting your business is what support do you need this year to really let you flourish in the areas you're strongest in. I'm a true believer in, even though I like self-improvement to some degree, personal development, evolving my best self even more. If there are places you're weak in, I think it's kind of a waste of time to say, oh, I got to fix this. I'd rather just go, find somebody who can help me, who it is their passion and strength and love, and let them thrive in that area. And then I can go thrive in my strengths. Life is too short. Let's have fun with our strengths. And really, I don't know about you, Roberta, but I think the underlying message that I'd like to get across today is that, really creating the year you want is about your happiness. What makes you happy and fulfilled as a human being here today and going forward?
Yeah, and that's very much an inside job. There's so many people who think someone else can make them happy. So first of all, understand that you're the only person who can make you happy. And in order to do that, you have to be deeply in touch with all the things that we've been talking today about within yourself. And sometimes you need a little help to do that. That's wise to get. It's wise to know what you need. And again, as I said earlier, know exactly what you need. Be laser focused, not a buckshot approach. Let me fill myself up with gathering information. I was speaking to an audience in Dallas once, Laura, and I was talking about getting ready to get ready. And I think a lot of people are getting ready to get ready. Well, I've just got to get this, and I've got to be able to afford that, and I can't do anything until this. And so getting ready to get ready became a real theme. And at the end of the talk, a woman was waiting to talk to me, as others were. And finally, she waited till the end, and I thought she must have a problem or something. And she said, honey, I just want to tell you that here in Texas, we're not getting ready to get ready. We're fixing to get ready.
You got to know the right lingo there.
That's right. But if you're fixing to get ready or you're getting ready to get ready, notice that about yourself. There's always something that's stopping you from stepping in, even a little bit into what it is your passion is or your contribution to the world. Take that step.
Yeah. And that brings me to another thought. So many people believe, oh, you have to go through the fire to heal yourself or something. And I'm all about gentle awareness and embracing it. There's a whole subtle way to transform your life. It can be very graceful, gentle, and inspiring at the same time. I'm not saying there's not going to be any pain or feelings of discomfort, but I do think there is a very graceful way we can learn our lessons and get into a new place in life. And what I heard in your identifying someone who is getting ready to get ready or fixing to get ready is something that I do as well. We can see things that people don't see about themselves. It's so much easier when there's an outside perspective on it. And somebody once told me, Laura, you have a gift. And I'm like, what's the gift? And she said, well, you see things that other people don't about their situations. And I said, yeah, so, like it's like things we do that's supposedly really amazing to other people, we take for granted. And I'm like, yeah, doesn't everybody do that? Doesn't everybody know what everybody else is thinking, in the room? No. Oh, okay. I guess it is a gift. I guess I have that and I bring it, and in being aware of it, then that you have a responsibility, right? To know how to use it wisely and to be of contribution with your gift. And even though you take it for granted, or I might take it for granted, it's not something other people, have the
Well,
ability.
when you couple a lot of experiences and a lot of skills and education with an intuitive nature, that's what happens. It
Right.
happens a lot to me, and that's what I really prize, is saying, okay, I get that. I get it on many levels. It's not just me saying things that I learned from a book. And
Right.
that's what's important for when you're looking for help, is make sure that you're with someone who is who you want to be, not who has what you want to have.
Oh, say that again. That's very powerful.
When you work with someone or look for someone to work with, find someone who is who you want to be, not who has what you want to have. Because that you have to come from that being place. If you don't do that, you are always going to feel like an imposter, and that's no way to go through life. So don't do that. Take the time to be aligned. That's an important thing to do.
And of course, that all starts with, who do you want to be? I always like to ask clients, who is it that you admire in the world? And have them come up with a list of 2 to 3 people. And it can be people who are dead, fictional or not fictional, but people who in history they've lived in. But what is that about them that you admire?
Mm-hmm.
The next question is, so who do you admire and what is it about them that you admire? Those qualities are yours as well, because we see ourselves in others a lot of times, whether we
Right.
acknowledge it or not. And then we could go look for people in our sphere of influence who might be good mentors or give advice or want to follow, their wisdom, read their blogs, books, etc.
Who can help you amplify that in yourself?
Exactly.
That's what you're really looking for, is someone who can help you amplify that or bring it forward or have more of it or a deeper understanding of it so that it becomes more foundational to you.
Yes.
That's where the quest is. You build life from the bottom up. And if you're building a building, you don't put the roof on first.
Right.
And so it's important to do that. And that's what gives us our juice.
Yep. So
And if we don't have that, then it's up to us to find it. Just like happiness. Happiness is an inside job. Finding our foundation and then building on it is an inside job too. And I like what you said, Laura, about getting some help, because I always tell my clients, my couples in particular, you're 2 fish in a bowl. When you come here, I can see the bowl and the water and the fish. You can't do that.
that's right. That's a great way to put it. So we want to encourage you to get the help that works for you. We have Roberta's website with tons of resources. You can even schedule a complimentary time with her for relationshiphelp.com, and my site as well. Lots of different resources there for you. You can certainly contact me and we can set up a time. Transform Today.
So I can see your website. There we go.
TransformToday.com. Can't see me, but you can see my website.
Yeah. And, we're going to we have these conversations every week. So we invite you to come. They're usually at the same time every week. And if you're enjoying today, come back another time, because we enjoy you. And come with your questions. We're going to do a better job of putting out a notice about what we're going to be talking about beforehand and giving you notice. So
that's our plan and our intention for 2016. Yeah. You'll know ahead of time.
So then you can formulate your questions too, and it'll be more interactive. And I hope you Laura and everybody here has a joyful New Year's celebration and begins with great sense of excitement about what's possible.
Wish I had some sparklers. Woo! Props. And I feel like the dating game. Mwah! Happy New Year.
Mwah!
We'll see you next time.